Tyrone King, take you, Aleeca Grace Sharshman, to be my wedded wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, until death us do part.
I, Aleeca Grace Sharshman, take you, Mario Tyrone King, to be my wedded husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, until death us do part.
When we got married, who we were then and who we are now is not the same. You know, like you make a commitment to somebody then, and you don't know what that person will be. You really don't. You don't know how the person will change. But we're still here.
We are. Yeah. I was young. I mean, not I'm not young now, but I was definitely not quite a man in my thinking. I would say, in my own assessment of myself. And I knew that I was determined, if that's the word I would use, determined to be a husband, a good husband.
As much
to
as
Aleeca.
as
much as I understood. But I don't think I knew what I would experience these 10 years, and there's no way that at that point in time I would have felt myself equipped to take on those kinds of responsibilities and requirements.
How have I changed from your perspective? So for better or for worse, right?
My experience living with you is that I didn't realize there would be times when I don't want to be around you. Not because of you, but just because I actually want to be by myself. And that's something, like you said, does not kind of how you're wired. You actually love the continued engagement and that kind of thing. So yeah, so that, I think that was definitely one area where I would say that wasn't what I didn't expect there to be something difficult about you being in my life 24/7.
Okay.
But yeah, that was definitely a tough one. Trying to think of others, but
you're nice.
Yeah, I mean you nag me a lot, but that's standard.
Why do I nag you a lot?
Because you don't like the way I do things.
Right. So not do things in general, but that would be my worst, that I've had to live with things that is like, okay, this actually isn't changing. So if I ask you to do something and it's not changing, and it's like, okay, at some point you're messy.
Yes, okay.
And
I am messy.
I guess I don't know if I thought it would change, or I didn't think that you were messy before. When you were on a hall or whatever, you was pretty neat.
Just clean it before you get there.
But yeah, so I guess that nagging was, no man, he knows. Let me remind him. And I try to have a nice gentle talk today, and then next week, and then next year, and it doesn't change. And it's just like, okay. And now it's like 10 years of this. But there should be a point where I just accept it. But like, okay. So yes, it is nagging at this point, but
no, maybe not.
I keep thinking.
I was gonna say that I feel like maybe I've improved in some things, but I can't think of anything that I would say.
You've improved in, of course.
No, I'm talking about with regards to
that.
Being messy or putting away stuff afterwards and what's not.
But I mean, I guess that's not a huge problem. That's like the worst I've had to deal with. So I just need to accept it.
Yeah.
maybe by year 20.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I give you this ring as a token of my deep love and commitment to you. Aleeca, I love you.
Okay, so that's kind of the worst that we have had to deal with. We have had trials, of difficulties, but not like worse, like mental health issues seriously, or physically not being able to do something, or even things like adultery. That's big, and we
Yeah.
haven't had to deal with that. We
Right.
haven't had to deal with, I don't know, one of us breaking the law and having to go to jail. Like worse. So, I mean, we don't know what will happen in the future. We've only gone through 10 years, so anything could happen.
Right.
But thinking through that, or thinking through other people that might have really had challenges, how do you really live up to your vows? Stay together for those worst times.
Yeah, all right, I'll try to answer whole, but I would just wanted to start by saying, when you said that, the thing that I thought about is, it's so interesting how the vow itself is for better or worse, in sickness and in health, and that
Right.
kind of thing. It's like you actually commit to those kinds of conditions. You commit to being, pledge your love and loyalty under those circumstances, and it seems like so many people use those circumstances, those kinds of experiences, those kinds of challenges when things get worse. That's the reason why they say, it's time to call it quits. Like, this is not what I signed up for.
But
it's kind of like it is what you signed up
that
for.
is what we sign up for.
So yeah, and that's not to make little of how difficult it can be to try to reconcile a relationship after somebody has been unfaithful, or to reconcile or get over the embarrassment and the disappointment with somebody who breaks the law or goes to jail. Like, you got a whole social stigma attached to that.
Yeah. I don't think we
not
realize,
making light of that, but
I don't think we realize what we were signing up for when we do that.
Yeah, for
'cause
sure.
That's a big deal.
right.
That's yeah.
So I would say, with regards to that, I don't think that. I think you definitely need God. I could say for us, I need God's help to stay true to the covenant that I've entered into with you. I need His help to continue to be the person I'm supposed to be, and also to demonstrate patience and grace and mercy to you when you aren't quite the person you're supposed to be. In the same way that I would hope and expect and need for you to demonstrate patience and grace and mercy towards me and love me despite of my shortcomings, and despite of the ways that I may actually genuinely like legitimately hurt you. That's a big part of it, for
I'm
sure.
kind of thinking back to times when I'd be like by myself thinking, oh, this is too much, kind of thing. In those moments, you don't feel like you don't feel it. You don't feel loving. You don't feel like, ooh,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that it's just like,
Yeah,
you
that's. I mean, I think that's real, and I think that as long as you don't make a rash decision at that point, you can. Even Scripture talks about that. Be angry and sin not, right? And I think that kind of translates into a lot of other aspects of interaction with people, where somebody does you wrong. There's no denying the wrong. We're not making any less of the wrong that's been done to you, but there is a responsibility, a commitment that's greater than the benefits that we get from this relationship. There's a commitment that's greater than those benefits, one that we made under God to each other for the rest of our lives. And from that perspective, like, you got to, with His help, find a way. Right?
it's
I'm not
bigger
saying
than-
that
it's
it's
bigger
something
than
that you
just-
can, self-will figure out on your own kind of thing. But I would say, with God's help, God brings people around. God gives you time. He teaches us stuff in His Word. We have community of believers that will continue to hold us accountable and lift us up and that kind of thing. We got other family members. Like, you got to lean on the things that God has given you, His Spirit inside of you, and commit yourself to, okay, I've made a commitment for better or worse, not for better, and if it gets worse, then I have an excuse to exit.
I give you this ring as a token of my love, my commitment, and my devotion. Mario, I love you.
It really helps to go into something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just, oh, I'm doomed. How am I going to do this? But you, like you said, people around you,
Right.
you get to see that, you get to experience that, and it's such a happy time.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Just as the marriage is, I think it's meant to be a happy thing to establish the family, for the whole benefit of society, you know, going forward.
Even in the gospel context, it is a picture of the relationship between Christ and His church. So then, like, you are proclaiming the gospel in your patience and long suffering in this relationship, in the same way that God is patient and long suffering with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if you put that in the forefront,
correct.
it kind of does help
Yeah.
to deal with somebody else.
It's
Like,
a
God
big
has
deal.
that with
It's a
me.
big deal, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, for sure.
So, it's my distinct pleasure to present to you Mr. and Mrs. Mary King. Mr. King, you may now kiss your bride.
But yeah, 10 years, I have enjoyed doing this with you.
All 10?
Overall, in general, there have been times when but overall, for sure. To have a friend be there, a real friend, to share things with you, to enjoy things with you, to cry and with you. Yeah. I'm glad it's you, for sure.
That's sweet. Thank you. I'm glad it's you too.
Do you hear me? Talking across the water, across the deep blue ocean, under the open sky.